of the week. A very odd-looking creature washed up on our local beach and has gotten the whole town scratching their heads as to what is it?
Oh my God.
It's getting irritated.
A mystery creature washes up on a South Georgia beach and it has everyone scratching their head.
Could these be pictures of the Loch Ness Monster?
This is a carryover of something that should have been dead 65 million years ago.
Apart from all that we can see, there is a lot going on in nature that we could never expect to witness until we do. Join us as we unravel the secrets of the unseen, revealing things humans were never meant to see. This looks like something that is straight out of a horror movie. From the mouth to all the way down the belly. Turtles have one of the most unique and horrifying mouths, especially seeing how innocent it seems to be.
Sea turtles have pointed, prong-shaped protrusions in their throats called esophageal papillae.
There are several layers of teeth within the teeth along the gums that not only exist to chew down its food, but also functions as a tongue to easily swallow even the most deadly jellyfish like tasty spaghetti. If the prey survives constantly getting chewed out, the sight of this toothy neck would at least leave it traumatized.
Bags and plastic wastes look a lot like their favorite parietal, which is jellyfish.
Symbiot versus crab. If there is no such thing as a symbiotic creature in real life, then how do you explain what this is? Strange symbiotic creature similar to a fictional character called Venom from Marvel movies was spotted on the rocks of a beach. Upon running into a crab, the strange black goo was seen locked into some kind of a desperate duel on the beachside rocks. The crab was attempting to resist the blanket of a symbiote creature that was trying to overpower and take over the crab. Within seconds, it was easy to take over the crab where the footage ends, leaving a mystery if the crab was just taken over or eaten as well. Zombie crow. If you have seen enough zombie movies, you know what follows after seeing something like this. A staff member in a parking lot of Hooters restaurant in Texas spotted and recorded this clip in July 2020, showing a very odd-looking crow that had grayish-white eyes, which almost made it look zombie-like. It had its neck twisted to the side and was partially moving around all over the place. Unlike most diseased or rabies-infected animals, no one would see it come flying down had this crow suddenly started to strike everyone. Scorpion-spider hybrid. No, not a case of deformation, but an actual species that does exist. Tailless whip scorpion, which is also referred to as scorpion spider, is one of the most intimidating species of its kind, as it has legs more so like a spider and has a pair of pincers around its front with no tail at all. Despite how scary it may be, these spiders pose no harm to humans unless threatened and also don't have any venom. It has 8 legs in total, but uses only 6 to move in a spider and crab-like fashion. According to experts, its pincer and claws pack a powerful sting that it tends to deploy against prey or predators. Bloated reptile fish. There isn't much that you can say for something that has a tail and limbs, being that of a reptile, who is also bloated at the same time. While out on a beach for a picnic in Thailand, a man discovered this very bizarre-looking creature that washed up to the shallow water area. Apart from its unrecognizable body structure to unusually large head, the creature almost looked to either be a product of severe deformation or mutation of some kind. It was also quite a lot bloated, leaving behind not many explanations other than it being something extraterrestrial. Unknown crustacean. For a multiple-legged marine animal, this one is rather quite friendly. A marine life enthusiast shared this clip of a crustacean that he found not just harmless, but also quite friendly and bonding at the same time.
Awesome freaking starfish. I love getting these guys because they are so creepy.
It had 5 tentacles attached to a tiny disc-like body in the center. Usually, squids and octopuses are known to be quite aggressive and clingy by nature, but this one isn't. This perhaps could make one really reliable addition if you happen to have an aquarium of your own. Decapitated but alive. What's shocking is not that this wasp is still standing despite having its head decapitated, rather it was able to fly away with it. An unnamed source shared this clip showing it was that somehow was still alive, missing its head. This is because according to Bug Anatomy, most insects don't have their brain in their head, or at least the entirety of it, but rather have a series of small brains that control different parts of its body. So despite this wasp losing its head, the injury didn't kill instantly, although it is blind and may fly around until it eventually starves to death in the very near future. Gorilla crow. Looks like this crow worked out a little too hard at the gym that its wings look more like arms than wings. Back in July 2019, a couple in Japan that were out on a date stumbled on this crow that was on the ground by the mall stairs, with its wings twisted in a way as if it were a gorilla. The recording soon started to rack up millions of views and shares on Twitter, with it being referred to as a gorilla crow by many. For a crow such as this, it's not just the gains that you have to worry about, but also its tenacious personality. Deceased fish reflexes. Regardless if the fish is long dead and decaying or not, sticking around anywhere near its jaws is never a good idea. On August 5, 2015, this pike resembling fish was found at the Hollingworth Lake near Rochdale. To have a good look inside its mouth, the woman casually uses a narrow wooden branch. Now, although fish jaws tend to work on instincts even after expiring, this case is quite shocking, even for a cold-blooded creature that has decayed almost completely.
I can't be picturing that everywhere. Swearing at it.
Baby crabs exposed. It's not just that the crabs are taking shelter from seagulls or other predators, but also in a feeding frenzy. A beachgoer somewhere in New York, after moving a stationary crab out her shell and discovered it to be hollow along with a dozen or so baby crabs underneath and within that were feeding on its host.
Hey Herbert, you okay, bud? Oh my gosh.
Be it baby crabs or adults, they both tend to eat one another if they get hungry and can't find any other means of food. In doing so, the baby crabs also use the outer shell as a roof to shelter them from predators until the water tide rises, enabling them to get out of harm's way. Egg inception. Initially, this egg might seem close to hatching when it's actually encapsulating another egg within.
Oh, I see another surprise.
This footage was taken and shared by an unknown source on the internet showing an abnormally huge chicken egg that he found in his chicken coop.
Very large egg.
The curiosity got to such an extent that the thought of an unknown bird having laid the egg to the egg nearing the stage of hatching, the owner decided to crack it open and investigate, only to find a second egg with. Considering that the insides of both the eggs were the same, this was just a mere cause of an egg getting caught within the other egg while in the developing stage.
Wow.
Compromised marine creature. Of all things considered, this looks to have the closest resemblance to a snail and a chicken. Fishermen off the coast of Florida, United States, found this unidentified being trapped in one of their lobster fishing nets. It looked to have expired after something tore it open from its abdomen area. As the footage spread around the internet, it caught a marine biologist's attention, who believed that this could be an Amphibious, also known as a headless chicken monster, due to the striking resemblance. However, till date, no one has been able to recognize it 100%. Mutant northern pike. The shorter upper jaw is not some kind of battle injury, but a shortcoming of sorts during the birth. A recreational resident in Wisconsin shared the footage of this catch in March 2017 to seek answers after he was left shocked by its shorter upper jaw.
Still eating though.
According to him, he had been fishing every now and then for over a decade and never caught a northern pike that looked anything like this. The pike looks to have mutated after getting exposed to some hazardous waste or material that have been disposed of within the water.
She's big.
Headless frog. Since most frog species have the ability to regenerate their limbs, this could explain how this frog is actually still alive. This video, dating back to November 2011 in Paho, Hawaii, shows a frog with a huge hole in its head with no visible brain while it was still alive.
It's not your average frog. It's kind of missing a face.
Now, it makes sense that one can live upon losing a limb, but not when it comes to the brain, even if it does have natural healing ability. But since frogs are cold-blooded species, they have the advantage of surviving even with the most serious injuries, and still have sharp reflexes. Interestingly, the same frog was also discovered to have several limbs. Bloated goat. The real mystery for something such as this: how did the air actually bloat this poor goat? In April 2023, owner brought her Nigerian dwarf goat nicknamed Bella to a veterinarian, Dr. Ferguson, after it happened to have gotten filled with air all around its body. The owner reported that her goat was jumped on by a series of stray dogs, who caused Bella to suffer injuries.
We came back from church and the dogs are trying to drag one of the deceased goats that they had already killed.
After initial inspection, Dr. Ferguson performed a simple needle decompression procedure on the dwarf goat, which within minutes relieved the goat of the air pressure. According to the good doctor, Bella was bloated due to numerous reasons, from a puncture wound to a severe case of infection.
Oh, it's working! Good job.
Slowly.
Swimming without insides. All it takes for a fish to look alive physically is intact tissue muscle and nerve endings. A man from an undisclosed location, after catching a fish in a nearby river, was clearing it out when he decided to experiment how a deceased fish reacts being dipped in water, and he was left surprised by the result. Despite the fish missing the entirety of its insides and cut open, it was swimming around like a normal fish in a pond. This is mostly because of the cold-blooded nature of the fish that keeps its basic motor functions functional, even long after its passing. Owl-like birds. If you thought owls are the ugliest of all birds, you now stand corrected. A footage dating back to November 2017 shows owl-like baby alien birds that were found by a construction laborer that was working on a site in the Indian city of Vishakhapatnam. After it was made clear that these weren't owls, the footage, which was later shared on the internet, soon got viral, where many believed it to be discovery of a new species or just resurfacing of an extinct animal species never to have been seen before. Giant weta. On the bright side of something as big and scary as this is that it is not harmless, at least to humans. The giant weta is a large insect endemic to New Zealand, known for its impressive size and weight, with some species ranking among the heaviest insects in the world. These flightless nocturnal creatures have robust bodies and powerful jaws.
This isn't a very big one.
They play a crucial role in New Zealand's ecosystem despite their intimidating appearance. Till date, the heaviest weta that has ever been found weighed 70 grams. Despite their peaceful attitude towards humans, wetas are believed to get aggressive during the mating season.
I think they're very common in the bush in New Zealand.
Pisle bear. This bear isn't just another species of its kind, but also a product of crossbreeding between two pre-existing species. Pisle bear is a hybrid of grizzly and a polar bear, whose occurrence was not only detected, but also confirmed via DNA testing in 2006. This unique-looking bear that had been shot near Saxe Harbor, Northwest Territories, on Banks Island in the Canadian Arctic. Although some of these bears were also born in captivity, researchers believe that with climate change and melting ice, the chances of interbreeding between these bears have significantly increased. Two-legged camel. Although this camel is missing its front legs, this camel looks ridiculously adorable. Camels, majestic in the desert, endure harsh conditions with ease. Sadly, a baby camel faced a tough start with only 2 legs, impacting its survival. Rejected by its mother, the struggling calf found compassion from caring men. These kind-hearted individuals comforted the anxious camel and provided companionship. The hope is that these men could offer the calf a loving home, ensuring a better life despite its initial challenges. The story reflects both the resilience of camels in harsh environments and the human capacity for kindness toward animals in need. Amphibious reptile. This could be anything from a huge snake, a complete monitor lizard, or something completely hybrid as well. A footage dating back to October 2019 shows a sighting of this unknown amphibious reptile that was first seen and recorded by a bystander while walking along Island View Beach, just north of Victoria, British Columbia. With its backside dipped far too deep within the water, made it harder to visualize and possibly recognize the nature of this reptile.
It's not very clean water.
What the fuck is that?
Due to the danger of it having any venomous nature, the source of the video decided to maintain distance and avoid any close confrontation with it. Mutant fish. A fish like this could be anything between a severe case of mutation or perhaps an evolution in the making. A recreational fisherman was left shocked when he reeled in a fish that looked quite like a stingray and even had a sort of tiny arms and legs underneath its body, apart from a bored fish-like tail. According to some of the viewers of this footage, this marine animal also tends to move much more like a frog. With so many variables in the equation, it is hard to know what truly might be the nature of this marine animal. Cow giant. Had this been a dairy cow, it certainly would have generated an ocean load of milk. This gigantic cow named Knickers is a 6 feet tall Australian cow that weighs more than 1.5 tons.
This is Knickers. Yeah, Knickers is a Holstein Friesian, and he's around about I think he's around about 7 years of age.
With it not suitable to be a dairy cow, it was a bit too enormous for the owner to keep around, until he decided to dispatch it to a local slaughterhouse, seeing how it could be converted into a lot of steak and burger. With it being too heavy for the slaughterhouse machinery to process, it was turned down. Knickers now spends his time grazing on the grass and enjoying his long life ahead.
He's the first to the bin, and everybody stands back and while he's eating, and they don't get a look in it.
Bugs through microscope. With all the bugs tiny by nature, it is harder to have a much closer look at them with their skin features that are too small to touch or feel them. Levin Biss, who is a renowned photographer who takes sports portraits for a living, decided to take a project to work on at home that would combine his passion for photography and nature.
I wanted to see how I could take my commercial techniques of lighting into that world.
Which is when he got the idea of taking macro photographs of bugs. The result? Microsculpture, which is a unique photographic study of insects in mind-blowing magnification.
The way they were lit and the incredible amount of detail that was in the images.
By using the technological marvel in microscopy and photography, Biss was able to portray one insect and delight the audience with an unforgettable viewing experience. Human-faced dog. Yogi, the viral dog, gained fame for remarkably human-like expressions, occasionally unsettling strangers. What's more eerie than a humanoid face is Yogi's human-like eyes. Unlike typical dog eyes, Yogi's are soulful, giving the impression of a human trapped inside. Despite the haunting appearance, Yogi is friendly, reassuring those who might find his eyes disconcerting. This canine's popularity stems from his uncanny ability to resemble humans, particularly in facial expressions and captivating eyes. Yet beneath the striking appearance, Yogi remains a friendly and approachable companion, alleviating any concerns about the eerie human-like quality in his gaze. Croc. A few years ago in Thailand, a peculiar creature emerged, resembling a buffalo with features like a crocodile, adorned with dark scaly skin. Despite being born from a buffalo, the 6-foot-long animal remained unidentified due to its reptilian appearance, hooves, and a tail resembling a healthy calf. Locals named it Crocola and considered it a harbinger of good fortune. Unfortunately, the creature, believed to be a result of interbreeding, succumbed to death just 3 hours after birth. The scientific community remains puzzled about the unusual birth, leaving the origin and features of this hybrid buffalo crocodile a mystery. Missing upper jaw. This dog confronts a challenging life with part of its upper jaw, including the nose, missing. Veterinarians sometimes remove portions of a dog's jaw to save its life, typically in cases of injury or rare abnormalities. The puppy's face bears a gaping hole, narrating a tale of courage, resilience, and strength. Remarkably, the dog's closest companion is also disabled with a twisted jaw. Despite their outwardly formidable appearance, these dogs form a unique, beautiful, and resilient duo, challenging preconceived notions and exemplifying the strength that lies beyond their physical differences. Buffed cat. This isn't just another typical lasagna cat, rather a one that's buffed. A cat larger than usual caught attention for its remarkable muscles, resembling a perpetual gym goer. Spotted strolling down the street. It wasn't growing larger due to proximity, but rather due to a rare disorder causing excessive muscle development. Despite its impressive physique, the cat didn't achieve this through protein shakes or workouts. The condition led to extraordinary muscle growth, making the cat stand out not only for its size, but for the unique and unattended result from this rare disorder. Extra set of legs. On an Irish farm, the birth of a lamb usually marks a celebration. But 6 years ago, a farmer was astonished when one of his sheep gave birth to an exceptionally unique lamb. This newborn had an extra pair of legs, shorter than the normal limbs, hanging from one side. The lamb faced initial challenges, as these extra legs made walking difficult. However, with time, the resilient animal adapted and learned to thrive, despite the unusual addition. This extraordinary lamb's journey exemplifies its ability to overcome challenges, turning an initially tough situation into a story of resilience and adaptation. Eyes of Scallops. As creepy as it looks in its rawest form would surprise anyone that is fond of the seafood, scallops are one of the creepiest of shelled marine creatures that have unique eyes along the edges of their mantle, detecting light and movement. Composed of dozens of tiny reflective mirror-like cells, these eyes help the scallops navigate and respond to potential threats. Though not as complex as human eyes, scallop eyes are remarkable in their ability to detect changes in light intensity and distinguish between light and shadow. Aiding the mollusk in avoiding predators. This simple yet effective visual system showcases the adaptability of marine life and their ability to survive in their underwater environments. How clams walk. It's not just the waves that help the clams in moving around, but also their unique natural form of moving. Clams have a long tongue-like limb that they use not only to catch their dinner, but also to move around. Since their heavy rounded shell and weight limits their movement in dry sand, they usually tend to stick in and around the wet sand that helps them slip away either by waves or just by deploying the limb to push itself in the desired direction. Due to this very nature, clams are one of the very rubbery of all the crustaceans found in seafood. Reef tank hitchhiker crab. Even for crabs, that's certainly a very mean-looking one. A marine life enthusiast who was setting up his own aquarium decided to catch marine life of his own.
Hitchhiker crab that used to live in my tank, my display tank.
In doing so, a crab that was seemingly hidden in a beach rock that was relocated into the aquarium unknowingly until it was later seen.
I knew I had seen it under a rock.
The aquarium owner initially was left confused, taking it to be some kind of bug, until he was able to identify it to be a hitchhiker crab that managed to smuggle its way in.
I'm gonna have to see what I'm gonna feed it or what, if I want to even keep it.
Bees in the dark. The good old saying of nothing good happens after 10 is quite applicable among the bees. A researcher that was studying bee behavior in multiple different circumstances was fascinated as to how the bees react to darkness. The bees, after the light turns off, drop down on the ground and back up when the lights are turned on back again. This is often part of their natural behavior known as sleeping or roosting. Worker bees gather in a cluster, hanging on to vegetation or other surfaces to rest during the night. This behavior helps conserve energy and protect the colony from nighttime predators. Living ball. The only thing that is not common about this ball to a rock, apart from it being completely round, is that it often displaces. An explorer came across this huge ball-like object while strolling through the forest, which he decided to get closer to investigate. In doing so, he discovered that this actually was an armadillo that was reacting in a defensive manner to roll itself in a ball-like condition, using its hard outer shell so as to protect itself from anything that threatened its safety. Green eggs. If you are bored of having yellow oaks since forever, well, there are other ways now to go around it. In 2020, a Gorilla man made an intriguing discovery of eggs with green-colored yolks.
These chicken eggs have dark green yolks instead of the usual yellow ones.
This phenomenon was attributed to the diet of the hens, primarily consisting of local plants abundant in chlorophyll. The natural pigment from the plants infused the egg yolks with a distinctive green hue. Although visually striking, the eggs remained safe for consumption. This occurrence highlighted the direct impact of a hen's diet on the coloration of egg yolks, showcasing the fascinating interplay between nutrition and egg characteristics in the local poultry. Sleeping sperm whales. Brooding may appear as the reason for whales staying in a vertical pose, but they're actually asleep. Patrick Dykstra discovered a pod of sperm whales in a deep slumber miles off the UK coast.
Wow, that's so incredible. 6 whales just sleeping.
Whales typically sleep only 6% of their day, making this sighting uncommon. During sleep, half of their brain rests while the other half stays alert for dangers. Minutes after waking, the whales, intrigued by a diver observing them, followed inquisitively. The encounter sheds light on the whales' unique sleeping habits and their ability to quickly switch from a resting to an alert state. Zorse. This isn't a zebra that's suffering from some undiagnosed skin disease, but like a Pisle bear, this is another product of crossbreeding. A zorse is a hybrid animal resulting from the crossbreeding of a zebra and a horse. Combining the distinct characteristics of both species, it typically exhibits stripes on its body, reminiscent of a zebra, while having the general shape and features of a horse. Zorses are known for their unique appearance and can vary widely in color and pattern. Although rare, they are sometimes intentionally bred, but their fertility can be unpredictable. Zorses are found in different parts of the world, primarily in regions where zebras and horses coexist or are bred in captivity. Half female and male butterfly. Being different can be an advantage, as seen in this butterfly with 2 distinct wing designs. Beyond its unique wings, there's another surprising aspect. This butterfly possesses both male and female characteristics. Born with a rare condition that results in inheriting genes from both genders, it is truly half male and half female. This uncommon feature adds to the butterfly's special nature. Drawing a parallel, it's akin to Miley Cyrus, symbolizing the best of both worlds. The butterfly's extraordinary combination of colors and genders make it a standout specimen in the natural world, showcasing the diversity and uniqueness found in nature.
Scientists say this condition is very rare, but they aren't quite sure how rare because it's hard to spot in most species where the sexes look alike.
Two-nose dog. Meet Toby, the two-nose dog. No, it is not a mutant, and this video is not edited. Despite the initial shock of seeing Toby's unique appearance, he is just like any other dog, except for having an extra nose. Scientifically, some dogs are naturally born with two noses, a condition known as split noses. This characteristic is rare and can be observed in certain breeds and individual cases. One well-known breed exhibiting this trait is the Tibetan Mastiff. However, the Andean Tiger Hound, sometimes referred to as the double-nosed Andean Tiger Hound, is the one that should be on the cover for this condition. Albino cockroach. This actually is more of a temporary molting effect rather than something that looks to be permanent. A staff member from a residential pest control company in New Orleans shared this footage after having to see an albino or what cockroach that left him surprised at first. White or albino cockroaches are not a species of kinds, but this is the result of them molting. Until their new exoskeletons harden and ultimately return the brown color pigmentation. From molting to hardening of the exoskeletons usually takes over several hours, and is one of the most vulnerable phases of the roaches who remain usually undercover during the process. White feathery creature. From the looks of this creature, it could be anything like a feathery insect to a feisty crustacean. This unknown little white creature was spotted on a road by the beach somewhere in China, which left not only the bystander, but everyone who came across the video confused and eager to know the nature of this being. It had a single, crab-like claw on its front with some kind of hair or limbs pointing upwards. If you happen to know more about it, feel free to share with us down in the comments. This picture and video was taken on December 13, 2020, showing an extremely bizarre capture that a fisherman caught in Krabi Province, southern Thailand. The fisherman himself was left terrified after catching this mystery sea creature that had dozens of long black legs. Disha Sakri pulled in the bizarre life form with long spindly limbs moving like a spider. Initially, he thought to inspect it with a stick, but after being recoiled with horror, he decided to dump huge amounts of cement onto it just to be on the safe side. Before which he made a video on his phone in hopes to identify the species. What do you think this is? Do share with us your opinion down in the comments. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more. Your support means the world to us. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and remember, the adventure doesn't end here. Stay curious, stay inspired, and we'll catch you in the next video.